Welcome to the Nordic Venture Show, your speed date with the hottest Nordic innovations and ventures. In this episode, our venture date is with eMabler, API-first EV charging platform for seamless integration.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really digging into something important, how businesses are integrating EV charging, not just as an add-on, but right into their core operations.
That's right. We've been looking at materials from eMabler specifically. They're an EV charging platform provider.
And we've gone through their website, looked at customer stories, how they see different industries, their products.
Exactly. So the mission for us today really is to unpack the key benefits for you, the listener. How are businesses actually doing this? What are the successful approaches? We're drawing directly from those real-world examples eMabler provides.
Okay, sounds good. So let's start at the beginning. When you look at eMabler, what's their core offering? What makes them tick?
Well, the big thing they lead with is being an API-first platform. Now, what that signals essentially is a focus on integration.
Integration meaning?
Meaning connecting seamlessly with the systems a business like yours probably already uses, CRM, billing software, ERP systems. They're not trying to make EV charging this completely separate silo.
Ah, okay. So they're not saying rip everything out and start over for your EV charging needs.
Precisely. And they back this up with some pretty solid technical points, like a 99.999% uptime SLA.
That's very high. That speaks to reliability, right?
Absolutely. Reliability for you and your customers. And they've got ISO 27001 certification too, which is all about data security, crucial stuff.
Definitely.
And another really key aspect for businesses, I think, is their hardware-agnostic approach.
Meaning you're not locked into buying their specific chargers.
Exactly. You get to choose the hardware that works best for your site, your budget, your needs. It avoids that whole vendor lock-in problem.
Yeah, that flexibility sounds really valuable. So thinking about our listeners, who is this platform really built for? Who's the ideal eMabler customer?
They seem laser-focused on energy companies, retailers, and parking operators. Basically, businesses that see EV charging as strategic as part of their main business.
Okay, so not just a side thing.
Right. These are companies that want control. Control over pricing, the user experience they offer, the data that comes from charging, and critically, they need that smooth integration with their existing back-office systems.
So if you're, say, an energy company wanting to bundle charging with your existing bills.
Or a retailer wanting to link charging to your loyalty app, maybe offer rewards.
Or a parking operator wanting one app for both parking and charging.
Then yes, eMabler is designed precisely for you to give you those tools to manage and scale it while keeping it all connected.
Makes sense. And flipping that coin, who is eMabler probably not the right fit for? Who should maybe look elsewhere?
Well, they're quite upfront about this. If your plan is to keep EV charging totally separate, like an isolated amenity, and you don't intend to leverage your existing customer base or systems,
then their focus on APIs and integration might not be what you need.
Exactly. Their core strength wouldn't really align with that kind of standalone approach.
That's really clear. Thanks. Now, you mentioned customer examples. eMabler shares quite a few. Can we dive into some of those, see how this plays out in the real world?
Absolutely. And they cover a really interesting range. For instance, there's the Ronald McDonald House charity in Finland. They started using eMabler in 2024.
A charity. Interesting.
Yeah. Then you have Park Charge Pay. They're newer, founded in 2022 using eMabler since 2024. Their goal is explicitly redefining parking, charging, and payment together. Henrik Halton, their senior product manager, talks about that unified vision.
Okay, so charity, payment tech, a broad spectrum already. What else?
Utility Cloud. They're an energy retail and billing, founded 2019, also on board since 2024. Their CCO, Eric Wengen, highlighted how it lets energy retailers on their platform offer eMobility out of the box.
Ah, enabling other businesses. That reinforces the integration point for energy providers listening.
Definitely. Then there's a completely different one. Jervisiden. It's a hotel and spa resort, actually founded way back in 1658. They brought in eMabler in 2024.
Wow, 1658. What's their angle?
Improving guest satisfaction and boosting their sustainability image, offering easy charging for guests. Their CFO, Rinal Lapalainen, mentioned that specifically.
So even historic places see the need. That's a strong signal for anyone in hospitality listening.
It really is. Then we move into charge point operators, or CPOs. There's Liddell, founded 2021, using eMabler since 2024. Their CTO, Magnus Jacobson, said something interesting.
Oh, yeah.
He said, Because they trust eMabler with the critical system parts, they can focus more on the user experience and innovation.
Right. They can focus on the unique value add, knowing the back end is solid. That's key for CPOs.
Exactly. Then there's Emulate, founded 2020, partnered with eMabler in 2023. They do smart energy management software. Their COO, Sonny Stromberg, talked about combining their grid expertise with eMabler's platform for, consumer and environmental benefits.
That sounds like a smart pairing, leveraging different strengths for a better outcome, something for businesses listening to think about in terms of partnerships.
For sure. Moving on. Upcharge UK, another CPO, founded 2020, using eMabler since 2023. Their MD, Thomas Herbert, emphasized getting cost-effective and rapid solutions. Speed and cost are always relevant.
Always.
Then Helen, a big Finnish energy company, founded way back in 1909. They started with eMabler in 2023. Their eMobility lead, Päivi Linteri, pointed out they get data kilowatt-hour revenue success rates much faster now.
How much faster?
She mentioned they used to wait maybe 30 days for some reports. Now it's much closer to real time.
Wow, from a month down to near real time? That's huge for making quick decisions. Definitely something for listeners to note.
Huge difference. Then back to parking operators. Amo Park, founded in 1959, using eMabler since 2023. Victor Lindwall, head of Amo Charge, highlighted unifying parking and charging in one app. Good for customers, good for the property owners they work with.
That single app experience keeps coming up. Streamlining things for the user is critical for any customer-facing business listening.
Totally. Flowbird, another big parking player, founded in 1974, using eMabler since 2022. Their EV director, Joe Rowley, praised the modularity, flexibility, and that hardware-agnostic aspect again, all focused on customer experience in parking and transport.
Flexibility and customer focus seem to be recurring themes.
They really are. Let's see, T-Holman, a CPO since 2011 with eMabler since 2022. Jonas Taipale, their project manager, talked about streamlined operations and transparency, especially with automated reimbursement.
Automation for things like reimbursement. That cuts down on admin headaches, I bet.
Big time. Alpha Power, another CPO founded 2018 with eMabler since 2022. Their director of operations, Sammy Jassam, highlighted using the API flexibility to build bespoke add-on services, moving beyond just competing on the price per kilowatt hour.
Using the tech to differentiate and offer more value, that's a smart strategy for anyone in a competitive market listening.
Precisely. Then Aneo, CPO founded 2019, using eMabler since 2022. Their CPO, Mari Moxnes-Carlson, said the migration flexibility actually exceeded their expectations. Smooth transitions are important.
Definitely less disruption.
Movil, CPO founded 2017, with eMabler since 2021. Their CEO, Per Magnor, stressed how important multi-vendor support and advanced energy management were for growing their customer base.
That multi-vendor thing again, that freedom on hardware seems really significant for these operators.
It clearly is. And finally, Destia. They're an infrastructure service provider founded 2007, using eMabler since 2021. Their focus is total solutions for B2B fleet charging surveys, planning, commissioning, remote operation. Jerry Jokinen, their head of EV charging, emphasized that full-service approach.
Okay, wow. That's a really impressive range of businesses across so many sectors. So pulling all that together, what are the key advantages eMabler really shouts about? What should listeners take away as the core benefits?
Well, several things pop up repeatedly. That API first and full access to data is probably number one. For you listening, it means the data flows where you need it into your existing systems, helping you make smarter decisions and grow.
Data integration drives growth. Makes sense.
They also stress ease of implementation, suggesting it's not a massive headache to get started, saving time and resources.
Always good to hear.
Then there's professional services and support. Knowing there's help available if things go wrong, minimizing disruption, that's crucial. And related to that, carrier-grade platform security with that ISO 27001 certification. Protecting your data, your customers' data, non-negotiable really.
Absolutely. Security and reliability have to be table stakes.
For sure. And that feeds into the high platform uptime, that 99.9999% figure again. It ensures a smooth experience for the end user, which reflects well on your business.
Right, you don't want chargers constantly offline.
Definitely not. Then there's their overall vision for customer empowerment, which translates into flexibility for your business, a better experience for your customers, and the ability to scale up as EV adoption grows.
Scalability is key for the future.
And their pricing model supports that pay-as-you-go based on charging sessions, so it flexes with your usage. They also mentioned being a market leader in the Nordics, implying experience and stability.
That Nordic experience is relevant given how advanced they are in EVs.
It is. And we've hit this a few times, but being hardware agnostic is a major plus. They mentioned supporting over 550 firmware versions across 150 plus models. That's a lot of choice for you.
Huge choice.
And finally, just being rich in features, covering the essentials like energy management, dynamic pricing, payments, roaming, and that multi-vendor support. It's a comprehensive package.
It really sounds like it. So how does eMabler frame this for specific industries? You mentioned energy, parking, retail.
Yeah.
What's their perspective on the unique opportunities for each?
Yeah, they tailor it nicely. For energy companies listening, they emphasize leveraging your existing customer relationships and billing systems. It's a way to create new revenue streams and play a key role in energy management as eMobility grows.
Tapping into that existing customer base. Smart.
For parking operators, it's about making your locations more valuable. Optimizing space, yes, but also enhancing the user experience by combining parking and charging seamlessly, which can build loyalty.
Turning a parking spot into more of a service hub.
Exactly. And for retailers, the angle is increasing dwell time. If people are charging, they're potentially spending more time and money in your store. Plus, you can integrate charging into loyalty programs, increasing revenue per visit.
So it's really about embedding charging strategically into what each industry already does to enhance their core value proposition.
That's precisely the message. It's moving beyond seeing EV charging as just, a necessary utility or a technical hurdle. It's presented as a strategic lever to strengthen your main business, a real opportunity for industry leaders.
That strategic mindset shift is important. Now, for a business listener considering this, how does eMabler actually make this integration happen, practically speaking?
It boils down to those APIs and connectors again. That's the technical heart of it. They provide the tool, the application programming interfaces, and they mention having over 50 ready-made connectors.
Connectors for things like
For linking up with common business systems. They list examples like Salesforce for CRM, CGI for billing, EasyPark for parking, various payment systems. The idea is these pre-built links make connecting EV charging to your existing software much quicker and simpler.
So it avoids having to build those connections from scratch, potentially saving a lot of development effort for you.
That's the goal. They lay out a kind of three-step process, use their platform to automate management and scale easily. Then add new locations or chargers, and the system handles the scaling automatically. The result, ideally, is scalable growth without hitting technical roadblocks.
Okay, let's get into the platform itself a bit more. What are the core functions it provides for a business user?
Sure. It's designed to be modular, so you can adapt it.
Yeah.
But the core capabilities include, first, the charge point management system, or CPMS. This is your dashboard for overseeing everything.
Like monitoring chargers, seeing if they're working.
Exactly. Real-time monitoring, error reporting if something goes wrong, even predictive maintenance alerts to try and fix issues before they cause downtime. And it's built to scale as you add more chargers.
Predictive maintenance sounds useful for keeping things running smoothly.
Definitely. Then there's energy management. This is becoming increasingly critical. It includes things like smart load balancing.
Meaning distributing power efficiently if lots of cars are charging.
Right, avoiding overloading circuits and potentially lowering electricity costs. It also allows for real-time price adaptation, maybe charging less when grid prices are low. Plus, support for renewables and managing peak loads. Huge for cost and sustainability for you.
Yeah, managing energy costs seems vital. What else?
Ad hoc payment options. This lets drivers pay easily for a single charge without necessarily needing an account or subscription. Think QR codes, maybe a quick web payment or tapping a credit card. Lowers the barrier for casual users.
Makes it easy for visitors or infrequent EV drivers.
Exactly. Then roaming. This lets your customers use chargers on other networks, and vice versa, through agreements like Hubject or Jarev. Expands access significantly.
So more places for your customers to charge. Good.
Very good. There's also a flexible tariff engine. This lets you set different prices based on, well, almost anything. Location, time of day, energy cost, maybe different rates for members versus guests. Gives you lots of control over your pricing strategy.
That flexibility in pricing seems powerful for different business models.
It is. And an invoice engine for handling automated postpaid billing, which is really useful for fleet customers or subscription models, takes away manual work.
Streamlines the billing cycle.
And underpinning all of this are the API and connectors we talked about, making sure all these functions can talk to your other business systems.
Okay, that covers a lot. How does eMabler position this API-first flexibility against other types of platforms out there?
They draw some contrasts. For instance, a simple white label solution might offer your branding, but give you less control underneath. A full end-to-end platform might lock you into their specific way of doing things, including the user app.
Right. Less customization.
Platforms tied to hardware manufacturers obviously limit your charger choices. And some basic eMSP platforms might mean the platform provider controls more of the customer relationship or data. eMabler argues their approach gives you control over the customer experience, full data ownership, business model flexibility, and that crucial hardware freedom.
It sounds like they're really emphasizing putting the business, putting you in control. Where are they focusing their development efforts going forward?
They highlight a few key areas. One is continued focus on reliability for end users. They even share data with clients on hardware success rates to improve this. Another is connectivity, expanding those API integrations, aiming for deeper connections.
More seamless integration.
Yep. Also, reducing OpEx operational expenses for their customers. More automation to make running the charging service more profitable for you. And finally, staying at the forefront of innovation for large-scale services, bringing new features and capabilities.
So reliability, connectivity, cost reduction, and innovation makes sense for this market. Now, they made an interesting point about alignment EV charging, working with your business versus against it. Can you expand on that contrast?
Yeah, it's a good way to frame it. The against scenario is when charging is siloed.
Yeah.
You end up with separate apps for charging versus your main service, different systems that don't talk, CRM, billing, meaning more manual work, maybe juggling spreadsheets.
Sounds inefficient.
It is. Data gets trapped in different places. It's hard to get a clear picture. Profitability can suffer. And ultimately, your customers get frustrated having to use multiple logins or apps. That's the against picture.
Okay, and the aligned picture.
That's where you see the benefits. One mobile app for everything. Integrated systems mean automated workflows. Charging data flows straight to billing, for example. Operations become more efficient, easier to scale. You get real-time, unified data for better decisions. The whole business scales better, and customers are happier with a smooth, integrated experience. It's about creating synergy, not friction, for you and your users.
That contrast makes the value proposition really clear. It's the difference between a strategic asset and just another operational burden. So what are the key steps eMabler suggests for businesses like ours looking to build and scale these services effectively?
They outlined a few core steps. First, integrate. Connect EV charging with your existing systems, your established processes, your current customer base right from the start. Don't treat it as separate.
Leverage what you already have.
Second, automate. Implement smart automation for charging operations, for billing, for reporting. Reduce that manual effort wherever possible.
Efficiency is key.
Third, build for scale. Think about future growth from day one, even in a pilot phase. Ensure the platform and processes can handle expansion smoothly.
Plan ahead.
And fourth, collaborate. Work effectively with the whole ecosystem, payment providers, hardware vendors, installers, map services, roaming partners, energy companies. You need those partnerships.
It's not just about the tech platform, but the whole network around it.
Got it. They also mentioned a readiness assessment. Why is that important before jumping in?
Well, launching successfully needs a solid foundation, technically and operationally. The assessment helps you identify any gaps before you start. Maybe your billing system needs an update to handle charging tariffs, or your staff needs training. It helps ensure a smoother rollout and avoids problems down the line. It's about setting yourself up for success from the beginning.
Proactive planning to avoid pitfalls. Makes sense for listeners thinking about this seriously. Okay, let's circle back one last time to those industries. What are the core advantages, again, specifically for, say, an energy company listening? For energy companies, it's boosting competitiveness. You integrate charging with your existing services, offer bundles, and crucially, you can monetize energy management using smart charging to help balance the grid, for example. It taps into your core expertise.
Right, leveraging their energy market knowledge. And for parking operators.
Increase property value and attract EV drivers. Offering that unified parking and charging experience, often in one app, makes their locations more attractive and convenient.
Convenience and added value. And finally, for retailers.
Attract and retain customers. Turn charging time into shopping time. Integrate charging rewards into loyalty programs. It becomes a tool to increase footfall and sales.
Making the charging service actively support the primary retail goal.
Exactly. And across all these eMabler positions, their offerings, the integration, the management system, the business features like pricing, plus their support services as the toolkit to help businesses like yours actually achieve these strategic benefits.
This has been incredibly insightful. A real deep dive into how integrating EV charging isn't just about plugging in cars, but about strategically enhancing core business operations. The message from eMabler, illustrated by their customers, seems clear for you listening. Seamless integration drives efficiency, improves the customer journey, and opens up new revenue possibilities in this electric mobility shift.
Absolutely. That's the core takeaway. And perhaps it leaves you, the listener, with a provocative thought. How could you strategically weave EV charging into your specific operations? Think about your existing systems, your customer interactions, your business goals. How could charging become more than just an amenity and actually amplify what you already do, preparing you for the future of how people and goods move? It's really about that strategic alignment, looking beyond just the hardware.
Thanks for listening to the Nordic Venture Show. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for more stories of innovation from the Nordics.